Good morning and welcome everyone to the 10 o'clock stretch session. This is our Reset, Recover, Refresh and Restore Festival. You'll need a block and a strap, something hard. If you don't have something that's actually a block, try something firm, firm enough to hold your weight. So a hard cover book rather than soft cover book. And if you don't have a strap, tie some long socks together and use those. Cool. Today, we're going to start lying on our back. So we're going to start down on the mat. All right, so lying on our back, just have your feet a comfortable distance away from your bottom. Give your shoulders a little roll into the floor. I find that feels amazing when I'm starting off. And then we're going to bring both arms up towards the ceiling and push the tailbone down through the floor. Feel your pelvic floor, gently draw inwards and up. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, feel the ribs press down as the arms come down towards the ground. Bring them up again as you breathe in. Bring them down again as you breathe out. I'm going to do this 3 more times. Try and really keep the shoulder blades flat on the floor and the fronts of the ribs knitting down towards your hips. Keeping the belly scooped. This is the last one. Inhale those hands up, turn them around and press them down onto the ground. Now, without letting your hips move, so we're going to feel, I want you to feel like your feet are glued to the mat. Cool, they're glued, but you're trying to rip them off that glue. And as you do that, 1 foot at a time, you should feel these little muscles trying to suck your thighs back into your hips. And that's exactly what we want. They're called your iliacus muscles. And we want to switch them on before we start. So feel your thighs hug your hips, hug your thighs in towards the groin. We're going to breathe in, lift the pelvic floor, squeeze the belly tight. And as we breathe out, lift one leg up into 90 degrees at the hip and 90 degrees behind the knee. And then breathe in, bring it back down, and breathe out, switch to the other side. So while we do this, try and keep your bottom really still on the floor. Just trying to focus on keeping everything still, moving one thing at a time, and moving it with control. I'm going to do 1 more on each side. And once the left leg comes up, keep it there. Bring the right leg up as well. So really pressing the shoulders and the hands down through the floor. Back of the neck is super long and the ribs are pressing in down through the floor. Keeping that pelvic floor lifted as we breathe in, tap the right tiptoe down as we breathe out. Bring it up and then switch to the left. That's round 1 of 4. So I'm going to go through 4 rounds of these single toe taps. Trying to really wake our core up. Because if we're going to stretch, we need to be warm and we need to do it safely. So we need all of our muscles turning on. Last round here, keep the legs up where they are. We're going to add the arms. So bringing those arms back up, pressing the shoulder blades down through the floor. We're going to just do 1 arm at a time, okay? So breathe in, activate pelvic floor and low belly. Breathe out, taking 1 arm back till it touches the ground. Bring it back up as you inhale and switch to the other side as you exhale. That's round 1 of 4. Exhale the arm away, inhale it up. Exhale it away, inhale it up. Halfway there. Keeping the ribs in, keeping the belly strong, keeping the spine nice and long and straight. Last one here. Great. So we're going to add on again. We're going to take the toe and the arm. So the left leg and the right hand are going to reach away. The left hand and the right knee are going to stay still. So we're going to tap the thumb and the toe, keeping the belly strong. Bring it back up and switch sides. Tapping on your exhale, returning on your inhale. Good. This is round 2. Here's round 3. And here's round 4. Nice work. You can bring your knees in towards your chest, give them a squeeze. Go for 3 circles in one direction, 3 circles in the other direction. Okay, so we're now going to warm up our glutes. So your feet are going to come in closer towards your hips. Make sure they don't flare open to the side. We want them parallel with the hip bones. Shoulders are pressing down and the hands are again pressing down into the floor, but not too close to your bum. Create space so your shoulder blades can take up their most functional shape. So we're going to tuck that tailbone under, engage the pelvic floor and low belly, and one vertebrae at a time, peel away from the ground while pressing the heels down. Now, I know it's a fantastic Thursday morning, but be really careful that your ribs don't get excited. Keep them squishing in. Don't let them come out. Keep them in. Keep squeezing under that butt. Take a breath in at the top, and nice and slow with your breath out, we're going to come one vertebrae at a time back to the floor. Now, the bum is heavy. I got some junk in my trunk, and I'm going to be careful not to let the bum touch down before the space behind my belly button. I'm going to really curl the pubic bone back towards my rib cage, and then let the hips touch down, roll them through. Pubic bone curling up to the ribs, tailbone tucking under as we peel away one vertebrae at a time. Find a nice strong straight line at the top, breathe in, and then tuck that tailbone coming down slow and controlled. The bum is the last thing to come down. Take an inhale and arch. We got 3 more of these. We've done 2. Good. And 2 to go. Really push those shoulders down, feel your collarbones really broaden. It's challenging to have broad collarbones but tight ribs, so really think about that. Last 1. And slowly down. Good. We're going to lift that right leg up into tabletop. Cool. Extend it out. Breathe in, bring it back. Breathe out, pop it down. Left leg up into tabletop. Reach it out as you breathe out. Bring it back as you breathe in. Pop it down as you breathe out. So come up on the right leg. Extend it. Really feel your underbutt squeeze as you extend it and the front of the hip lengthen. Switching from side to side. 1 more round. This is called lift and extend. I'm starting to get your hamstrings and deep glutes activating. Great. Now we're going to come into our single leg circle, core and hamstring working together. So wherever your leg can be fully extended, it does not have to be up to the ceiling. It can be nice and low. Extend it, take a breath in, lift the pelvic floor, breathe it out, straighten it down closer to the ground. Now I'm going to rotate the thigh out in the hip socket and sweep it back up to where it started. Remember, don't overrate the custard. It's early in the morning. We're trying to warm our body up safely. The other hip and the other knee need to stay really still. So don't make it enormous and don't make it too quick. Stay in control of the movement. Keep the shoulder blades down, chin tucked in. Go for 1 more round in this direction. And then inhale straight back up, turn it out to the side, circle it down and away. Be really mindful that if there's any snap, crackle, or pop in your hip, stay above that. Cool, so try to find the spot where your thigh can rotate fluid in the hip socket. Last 1, bring it back up, bend the knee, pop it down. On the side, left leg extends, breathe in, lift the pelvic floor, breathe out, trace it down, turn it out, sweep it up and over. Down on the exhale, up and over on the inhale. Just going to move a little further away from my wall so I can actually do a decent sort of circle. I'm kicking it every time. 3, 2. Switch it over, bring it back up, circle it down and away, being really conscious that that left hip and left knee is still, we've got that natural curvature of the spine, but the shoulders and the pelvis are really heavy. 2 to go. Last 1. Beautiful. Inhale it up, exhale, bend the knee, place it down onto the ground. Now we're going to take the feet a big step away from us. Good, we're going to lift the toes and press down through the heels, and that's going to help you activate your hip flexors. Bring the arms back behind your head, take a big breath in, tuck the chin to your chest, curl and reach, 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 reach. Hey, now if you're finding that really hard for your tummy, walk your feet further away. And pull the ribs in, curl down through the spine, reach the arms all the way back. There is a pigeon staring at me from outside. How dare you? Free show. Curling up, reaching through the fingertips all the way to the top. Nice, guys. Looking better. Bring it back down. Keep those feet flexing. Keep the legs really still. Keep the tailbone anchored. So we curl chin to the chest, peel the ribs away, come up through the spine, sitting up tall on the tailbone. Reset the shoulders and roll it all the way back down. You just got one more of these. Nice. All right, we're going to up the ante a little bit, guys. These are called tuck-ups. So from hands and legs extended, your hands and feet start on the floor, but they never come back to the floor. I'm going to demonstrate the exercise to you twice, and then we'll join in. So you won't be able to see my hands in shot, but they're by my ears, and I promise you I won't touch the ground. I'm going to throw my arms forward as I tuck my knees into my chest. Cool, so I'm in this tight little ball shape. Heels are reaching towards my bottom, but my feet are away from the floor. I'm then going to come out into a dish shape. So my hands are behind my ears and I have pointy toes. And I exhale up into that tuck again. Now we're going to do 10 of these. And they're going to really wake up our core. If you don't get all the way up, you need to throw your arms a little harder as you squeeze your knees a little tighter. Getting the timing of this it's all about timing. So work with it. I'll check in on you. I'll get you started with the first 3 and then I'll see how you're going. Let's go. Arms and legs out, long and straight. Really squeeze the thighs and the ankles together. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, snap it up. There's 1. Fast. 2. Find your dish. 3. Keep it going. 4. Keep the feet off the floor. 5. Keep the hands by the ears. 6. Looking good, guys. 7, yes, these are beautiful tuck-ups. 8, 2 to go. 9, last one. 10, good. Hug the knees to the chest, give them a squeeze. Let's give your back a little massage, bit of rock and roll. And then when you can, rock it up to sit. Cross the legs. We're going to bring the hands forward, roll the knees back to bring ourselves onto all fours. We're not going to do our cat-cows yet. We have to earn them. So I know that there's a very common phrase when it comes to exercise classes. I hear it all the time, and it sounds something like this. I hate burpees. We're not doing full burpees. Don't panic. Don't vomit and don't make faces. I can see you. We're not doing full burpees. We're doing a modified kind of burpee that is actually a really great core conditioning exercise. Heart starter. It's going to increase your blood flow. It's going to make us nice and warm and ready for a great stretch. So we're going to start on all fours. Really straighten the spine. Lift the belly up into the back. We're going to tuck the toes and hover the knees off the ground, wrapping the arms and the shoulders back. Just stay here for a second. We're going to step 1 foot. I'm going to need to move further back because there's nowhere for my foot to go. There's a pole stage in the way. All right, so we're going to bring 1 foot, let's say the right foot, as close as we can to the outside of our right hand. Boom. Press the heel down. Do the same on the left. Boom. Now lift your chest, drop your bum, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Ha! It's not so bad, is it? How hard is that? Not hard at all. We're just not going to put, Anita's like, shut up. We're just not going to put the knees back on the floor, okay? So we've stood up. We're in this nice wide squat. We're going to bring the hands back down under the shoulders. Now, we're going to step back a little further and a little wider. So take the foot back wide. Take the other foot back wide. Nice. This time again, right foot to the hand, left foot to the hand. Squeeze your butt, the hands come up. Pop them down, right foot back, left foot back. We're going to do the left foot first this time. Left, right, arms down, left, right, arms down, left, hold it here. So this is our nice bent leg plank. Do you know what's amazing about a bent leg plank? Well, it's stable because we've got wide feet, bent knees. Your spine can be really long and straight, and your abs can really work for you efficiently here. If you want to make it harder, you step the feet a little closer. If you want to make it harder, you straighten the legs a little bit, keeping that tailbone tucked under, being conscious that your butt doesn't lift up. Did I say you could put your knees down? I don't remember saying that. Hang in there with me. Try and keep that neck long and straight. We're here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring the knees down onto the ground and press it back into child's pose. So there you go. Today you learned a type of burpee that still achieves blood shunting, still brings your heart rate up, but there's no impact or load to the joints and it doesn't suck. You can stay there for another second or two. I'll move this back out of the way. Let's take a roll up through the spine. Walk our hands forward until they're underneath our shoulders again, knees underneath the hips. We'll start with a curl and an exhale. Arch the back, breathe in. And round the spine, breathe out. Arching on your inhale, just check in that you're moving each vertebrae, not just one part of the back, all of the back, including the neck. Good. And we're going to add on, we're going to make some circles. Make sure your head is following the movement. And circling the other way. And pausing in the middle. Cool. So we're going to start opening up our rotation. Try and keep your pelvis really still. We're going to move from the waist and above. So we're going to take the hand that's closest to your computer screen, bring that elbow up towards the ceiling and extend it all the way so the fingertips point straight up. Good. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit more and lean towards the arm that's further from me. Great. So each time we're going to transfer the weight. Bring that hand back down, press it slowly into the ground. Other side, so we're going to lean over into the supporting arm, elbow, then fingertips, careful that those hips don't move, and then slowly back down into the ground. Keep going with this, lifting and expanding, and slowly contracting, lifting, extending, slowly coming down. We've got one more on each side. Nice, and down, final round, up, and down. Right, so we're going to stay on these hands a little bit longer. We're going to extend one leg out long and straight, boom, and take that knee into your elbow. Tuck, take it out long and straight, squeeze your underbutt, bring it into the elbow. We've got 5 of these. This is the third. Inhale it long and straight, exhale in, and the last one. Inhale it back and pop that knee down on the ground. Other side. Long straight line. Really squeeze those upper arms into your shoulders. Bring the knee to the elbow. 1. And out. Careful that your spine doesn't round too much at the shoulders when that knee comes in. We're looking to stay long and straight. Pushing down through your index knuckle and looking ahead of you can really help. Last one. Leg comes back. Knee comes down. Take it back into child's pose. Just let your body recover for a sec here. Once we come up into our down dog, which is where we're heading in just a sec, we should feel ready to be there. So rolling up slowly through the spine, walking the hands out to the under the shoulders. Let's set up the arms before we lift the hips today. So make sure that the index knuckle is pressing down, the little finger is counting that. We're going to wrap the arms in so the creases of the elbows point forward, then tuck the toes, look back at them as you lift the hips, keeping the knees really bent. Good, so we're sticking our bottom right up in the air, the head's hanging on the tummy side of the shoulders, not on the hand side. And we're going to start to walk the feet out. Long, straight spine, really actively pushing through the arms. In fact, I can feel my arms brushing against the backs of my ears. That's my 4 rounds of walks done. Come up onto the toes, take a breath in. See if we can start to melt those heels down onto the ground as we breathe out. They might not get there yet, don't worry. Keep pushing through the hands, keep lengthening through the spine. And you know what's really important in a stretch class that we're going to start practicing right now? Breathing. Keep breathing deeply through every stretch we work on today. Lift the heels up, bend the knees. We're going to look where we're going and walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. Make sure you're keeping this 2 fist distance between your feet. 2 fists is so arbitrary, but what we're really looking on is keeping the heels underneath the hip crests. It's just a quick way that suits most people. So relax the head down. We want to get rid of any tension we're holding in the neck. So nod the head yes, shake the head no. And let's create a little bit more length in the spine. Loosen it out from side to side. Cool, keeping the ribs in, tuck the tailbone under, nice and slow, we're going to roll it up. Stacking the vertebrae and rolling the shoulders back, squeezing them down. Breathe in, extend those arms up to the ceiling. And turn the palms away, fold with a nice straight back, bend the knees if you need to, all the way to the floor. We're going to slide the hands up the shins, lengthen the spine forward, breathing in. Remember, you don't have to lock the legs out here. A long back, comfortable hamstrings. And then slide them down the backs of the legs, crown of the head straight to the ground. Slide the hands up the shins, lengthen the spine forward, breathing in. Slide the hands down the backs of the legs, crown of the head down to the ground. One more time. And rolling up, stacking the spine. Take the shoulders back, roll and slide them down. Inhale the hands up to the ceiling. And exhale them by their sides. All right, so we are going to get into our block hamstring stretches. I'm going to get my block ready and place it at the top of my mat. I'm going to have it lengthways. No, I'm not. I'm going to have it in the horizontal alignment. We might call it landscape. Okay, before I do that though, we're going to make sure they're really awake. So I'm going to take the hands onto the hips and roll the shoulders back. Our feet are still 2 fist distance apart. I'm going to take a little spiral outwards of the knees. I want to show you what that looks like. I'm not going to change the direction of my feet. They're still really parallel. I'm just going to spiral my knees out. And when you do that with a soft bend, you should feel under butt really switch on. So a little spiral outwards of the knees, hands on the hips. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, breathe in, come down to flat back without straightening the legs as you breathe out. Good, come back up. I've got my breathing wrong, come down on an inhale. Squeeze your underbutt slowly to stand. Now we don't want to over thrust here. We're not going, Elvis, pelvis. We're going to pause right on straight without locking. Bringing it forward as we breathe in, keeping that little outward twist of the knees and bringing it up as we breathe out. I'm going to change this a little bit, guys. So right now we've been focusing on the flat back and allowing the hips to shift back. We're going to change this a little bit. We're going to try really hard to keep the hips exactly where they are and take the body forward. Now, you'll probably feel like your heels are going to lift and you're going to fall over. So that means we just need to limit our range a little bit. Roll the shoulders back, really press down through the feet and try and take your body forward from the hips. And you're going to feel those hamstrings working real hard. Slowly bring it back up on your exhale. Keep the shoulders back and down. Now, if you like to add some postural work, you can extend the arms out to the sides and spiral the thumbs back. Just make sure they don't come forward of your body. Try not to let the hips shift back. Try. I know it's hard. We got 3 more of these. 3, 2. Last one. And I bet you any money those hamstrings are awake. Cool, so we're going to start by standing on the block. I want you to wrap your toes around the horizontal end. So really wrap your toes around the edge. I hope you can see that on here. My heels are already dropping down and getting a bit of length. Now, I know this puts us in a narrower stance, so take the feet out to the edges of whatever it is you're standing on. And again, we want that little bend, soft break, and outward spiral of the knees. We're going to take the chin to the chest, drop the shoulders forward, place the hands on the thighs, and keep gripping with those toes as we start to curl. So the upper body needs to curl forward first.
See how far down your legs, your fingertips with really loose arms can trace. Keep the knees bent here, hey? Don't try and over straighten the legs just yet. Let the hands come down onto the ground if they do, and relax the head fully. We're just going to stay here for 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly roll up. Cool. And once you're upright, we go straight back down again. Keeping the hands on the thighs. Make sure the shoulders do round forward and the ribs pull back. So we're creating that C curl through the upper back. Release the shoulders forward. Careful they're not forcibly creeping up to your ears. Tracing the fingertips down the legs, maybe even down the toes and beyond this time. Now, once we're here, just bend into your right knee deeply so your torso is resting on the right thigh. And see if that left leg can extend just a tiny fraction more. Don't overdo it. Keep it gentle. And then bend the left leg as well. I'm going to transfer your torso onto the left thigh and see if we can start to extend that right leg a little bit. Now, my left leg is always happier to extend than my right leg. That's fine. Softening into that right knee, transferring the weight to the right, and then again, working to extend the left. Using the breath. And coming back onto that left leg, transferring the weight and working to extend the right. And then softening into both knees, hanging the head heavy, nod the head yes. Shake the head no. Keeping the head and the arms heavy, that C curl in the upper back, we roll up and stack nice and slow. Cool, once we're upright, roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to step off the block. Just feel into your feet, take them for a little pedal. What is it to pedal your feet? Well, you lift the heel, push to the ball, and as that heel comes down, you lift the other one. Just pedaling through the feet. Because your toes have been gripping. They need a little bit of a massage to say, oh, I'm done gripping. And I can relax. So we just did a little bit of forward folding with the toes forward and the heels back. We're going to build on that in a minute. But first, we're going to see what it's like to fold with our calf muscles contracted and shortened. Okay, so I'm moving that block back so you can see this. I'm stepping my heel over the block and making sure that the ball of my foot can touch down on the ground. So I'm really spreading my toes here. And I'm going to add on with the other side as well. The heel is on. I'm spreading my toes. So I'm in a forced point. Now for this one, we'll start with bent knees, but rather than curling, we're going to tip forward like we did in our good mornings. Because we're on our tippy toes. And in a curl, that'll feel really weird to begin with. Then you can, once you're in a flat back, you can release the arms forward and fold it down. Once the head is hanging heavy towards the ground, make sure you're spreading your toes and pressing down through the heels. Roll it slowly back up. Now we're going to see if we can do this with straight legs. Don't worry about how deep you go. And careful that you're not overextending. Like we don't want to be jamming and hyperextending the knee joint. Just softly straightened. You can take this one with a curl if you were comfortable curling up last time. I just feel like it's a bit much on the first round. Slowly coming down. And if that feels really good when you're at the bottom, just hang out there for a second. Because that's the idea here. When we shorten the calf, we can fold a little bit deeper over the hip creases. Find a little bit more spinal extension. And then slowly back up again. Rolling up with straight legs is really challenging. If you need to bend your knees, please go right ahead. All right, and again, stepping off the block. Now you might just need to pedal your heels out rather than the big toes. The grand finale for this stretch here, sorry, I've made a giant mess of my mat, which I'm just going to take a moment to correct. I've also been headbutting my pole stand. Okay. So the grand finale, the big kahuna. We're going to stand with the heel on the floor and the ball of the foot, so it has to be the entire ball of the foot over the block. You might like to be near a wall for this. I find it quite destabilizing, difficult to balance. So the heel is on the floor, the ball of the foot is on the block. This is so hard. My block is enormous. I wish I had chosen the soft ones. Now again, your mileage may vary. You might like to fold or work with a straight back on the first one. I like to go flat back on the first round. Oi, oi, oi. So we've got an extra stretch on the calves here, right? Because the toes are elevated and the heels are depressed. So this is really intense. Be very gentle. Cool. Try and relax the head down if at all possible. You want all the neural benefits of the stretch, and we need to release the head to get the nerve stretch. And then again, we're going to lengthen the spine for this one. Bring the hands to the hips, scoop the pelvis under, and roll from the pelvis up to stand. Okay, now the next one we're going to hold at the bottom for a little bit longer. So, and we're going to try and see if we can bend one knee at a time. I don't know if I'm even going to get there today. See if we can curl it this round. So chin to chest, C-shape the upper back. Release the shoulders forward, let the head hang heavy, coming down slow and controlled. And once we're there, keeping the belly lifting into the spine, the crown of the head dropping down to the ground, if that's possible for you. See if you can bend one knee. Be really careful that as it bends, it turns out to the third toe and not into the big toe. Keep breathing. Release out of that, soften it back, straighten it, and then take it to the other side. Oi, ay caramba. The other side was not so bad. This one's given me all sorts of feedback. And straightening the legs again. Up to you if you want to come up with bent legs or straight legs. Look back at your knees and slowly roll up through the spine. I find the curl is the hardest part. The great news is you get to step off that block now. Woo! It's hard work early in the morning, isn't it? The block is gone. It's done. So let's compare. So step those feet back out to hip distance. Let's see how this feels now as opposed to how it did 5-6 minutes ago. Heels directly under the hips, sweep the arms up, take a big breath in, and fold all the way forward down to the ground. Now maybe your fingers can touch the ground, maybe you want to place your hands on your block, lengthen the spine forward, breathe in, and then bend the knees, take the heels to hips towards the heels, and press all 10 fingers down into the ground as you breathe out. Step it back into a high plank, breathe in, and press it back into your down dog, breathing out. Awesome. Just hang out here. You might find that your heels hit the floor much more easily now in your down dog, or they're at least closer than they were previously. And then step your toes together at the back of your mat and take your right leg all the way up to the ceiling. Bend the knee, bring it into the nose, shift your body weight forward and press that right foot down through your hands. We're going to keep that right knee behind the heel, so you might need to walk the foot further forward. And then we also want to send that left heel back as far as it can go, and both hips are nice and steady. From here, we're just going to practice bending. So we're rolling onto the tip toes on the back leg and then pushing the heel away. Roll onto the tippy tip toe, push the heel away. 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to bring the chest up as the knee comes down. So those two things happen together. Now, make sure that back leg is as far away from you as it can be. If you need to put a cushion or a prop underneath it so that you can be comfortable, please do. Take your left, this is my right foot that's forward. Take your left hand wide to the side. Bring your right arm up. Stretch it towards the ceiling. This should feel really nice. That's the idea. It's a nice twist. Slowly circle it back down. Brush it past the outside of the right thigh and open it again. 3 more. All right, keep that arm up towards the ceiling. Back foot is flexed. Kick yourself in the butt. 1, push your hips forward. 2, 3. Give it one more. Hold it there. Hold it there. Squeeze it to your butt as much as you can. Now take that right hand back. Find your foot. Oh, we have a strap today. If you can't find your foot, use your strap. Now we're focusing on the quads here, not the hip flexor. Cool? So you want to keep that heel close to your bum. Push the foot into the hands for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax it. Bring it in a little closer. I'm going to go again. Push it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in a little closer. Keep that shoulder rolling back, okay? Don't let it pull forward towards your ear. Keep the chest lifted and the neck nice and long. Lift the arm up, release the toe down, bring the foot to the inside, the hand, sorry, to the inside of your foot now. I'm going to squeeze the knee into the shoulder, tucking that left hip forward. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax into that. Bring the hands up onto the knee and send your weight back. Now I'm going to untuck the back toe and purposefully send the ankle down through the floor. This left hip is going to push forward. We do that by squeezing the left butt cheek. Right hand is on the knee, left arm is up by your ear. So keep spiraling that left hip forward and across to the right. Drop the right shoulder down and tip to the side. Now we're getting into the hip flexor. Start to walk your right foot a little bit further forward. Keep squeezing that left hip. Keep the pubic bone lifting towards the ribs. This is why we wake our core up before we stretch. Keep our belly engaged so we don't dump into the low back. Bring the other arm up as well. Keep pushing the hips forward. Extend the arms back to where you're comfortable. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, sink the pelvis forward towards the right heel. Keep breathing, keep extending up. We're lifting those ribs up away from the hips. We're going to pull the hips back, flex the right foot, and slowly fold from the hip down towards the right leg. Staying here and breathing. Relax the face if you can, really lengthen the spine. So the tailbone and the top of your head are extending away from each other in opposite directions. And then we're going to point the toes, sit all the way back. So your left heel is in the crease of your left butt cheek. The right toe is pointing as hard as it can. I'm going to flex it and point it. Flex it and point it. 4, 3, 2, hold the point down as hard as you can and let the spine fold. Try and keep your nose in line with your pubic bone. Try not to move to one side or the other. Try and stay long and straight here. And slowly roll up through the spine. This foot is going to come back until it's in line with our left knee. I'm just going to shuffle forward. Your hands are going to come back behind you. Be careful that they don't face away from you. They can face out to the sides or they can face your butt. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest up. Scoop your tailbone under. Just squeeze that left butt cheek to lift the heel off the foot. So we're coming back into that quad. I've been hearing from a lot of my friends in ISO at the moment that the quad is the #1 thing that's giving them trouble. I feel like their quads are ripping. So I'm going to spend a lot of time stretching them. Sitting the bottom back down. Bring the hands forward. We're lifting this right heel up. Pushing your weight forward through the knee and then dropping it down. If there was any tension left in your Achilles and your soleus, so they're the bottom parts, underneath your calf muscle, it's gastroc up here, soleus down here. Should be releasing at this point. And pushing into the hands, bringing the weight forward and the chest up. Pop that right knee down to the ground. Just take a gentle arch and breathe in. And a curl and breathe out. Find a long spine, inhale. Tuck the toes, back to downward dog, and exhale. Just admire how much more your heels are reaching towards the floor already. Really pushing through the arms and keeping connected to our breath, making sure we don't fall back into shallow, anxious breathing or rushed breathing or stressed breathing. For stretching, we want deep breathing. It's how we get the benefits. You can step your toes together at the back of the mat. Lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Bring the nose towards the thumbs. Keep it tucked up nice and tight to your chest. Then step it through the hands. Now the knee has to be behind the ankle and the right heel has to be a long way away. So do whatever you need to make that happen. And with the hands still pressing into the ground, we're going to bend the right knee, come onto the tiptoe and extend the heel away. Bend, extend, 3 more, bend, extend, bend, extend, bend, extend. As that knee comes down, your chest comes up and you're on the right fingertips. Now I'm going to spin around so you can see this sequence from the clearer side. Hello. So I'm in this nice long lunge, kicking my block out of the way. Your right hand's going to go to the side. Your left arm is going to come all the way up to the ceiling. Good, really stack your left shoulder over the right, draw the shoulders back and down. Take a breath in. And then circle it back and away 4 times. Nice and slow, just feeling into the opening of your chest and the rotation of the shoulder. Nice fluid movement, big generous movement. Cool, keeping that left arm pulling up to the ceiling, the right arm pushing the floor away, the chest open, the shoulders back. Tuck those right toes. Kick your butt, go, 5 times. The 5th one we hold. Try not to move your body. Hold it up there. Great. Now spin that left hand back, grab onto your ankle if you can. If you can't, use your strap, it's fine. I'm gonna switch hands, lack of options. Keeping the chest open, the shoulders squeezing back. Press your foot into the hand. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax. See if that heel will come any closer to your hip. Go again. Push the foot into the hand. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax. And hang out here for a sec. Keep pulling your left hip back, pushing your right hip forward. Just careful that your right hip isn't dropping here. Keep it puffed up. And then you can slowly release it down. And your left hand's going to come to the inside of the left foot. The toe is still tucked, the knee is still down. Squeeze your left knee into your shoulder for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then relax it. Bring your hands up onto your knee and push your hips back. So we're in just about 90-90 at the hips here. The right hip is lengthening. Sorry, I can hear Tom gargling after cleaning his teeth. Squeeze your right butt cheek, send it towards your left heel. Your left hand's on your knee, right arm in your air, in the air. It's not just your air. Drop your left shoulder, your left elbow. Start to tuck the ribs in and tip to the side. This should really feel this strong through the upper side, almost into the side of your waist on that right hip. So really keep pushing that right hip forward, lifting, dropping the left shoulder. And the more you rotate and spiral, the better that gets. Keep squeezing the right hip forward. All right, bring both arms up to the ceiling now. You can walk that left foot a little further forward. Keep drawing the arms back. Squeeze the butt, lift up, and then push the hip down towards the heel. Good, holding here in this low, long lunge. Keep lifting the ribs off the hip, keeping the belly engaged so the pubic bone is still pulling upwards. We're using time here. All right, so we're going to bring the hands onto the hips, pull the hips back, lift the toes. Try and keep really centered so the outer edges of your chest are in line with the outer edges of your hips as the hands come down onto the ground. Nice and square as we lengthen from the tailbone all the way to the top of the head. You can bend your arms if your hands are wide. Just try and keep the chest proud and the shoulders drawing back. Again, deep breaths, long, steady breaths. And then sitting all the way back onto your heel. Pointing the toe, so feeling into where our point starts. And then we're going to flex and point 10 times. Flex, point, flex. Really pull the toes towards your nose. You should feel your hip move back. And once you get to your 10th point, hold it there. Bring your body forward. Really keep careful that your foot isn't sickling in here. Yeah, we want to keep that ankle really long all the way through to third and second toe. We're working in parallel or neutral alignment today. That means the body is also parallel and neutral. Slowly coming up, bring that foot back in line with your knee. Walk the hands back behind you. I'm going to shuffle forward so I don't end up in my little garden. Pushing that right knee down, squeeze the right butt cheek to lift the hip, shoulders are rolling back. I'm not dropping my head back because my ribs will get excited and they'll flare. I want to keep them contained. I want to stay strong and just focus on the thing that I'm trying to stretch, which is the front of my thigh. 3, 2, 1. Sitting back down. So we're going to lift the heel, press the torso into the thigh, bring our body weight forward, and then start to let our heels sink down towards the ground. Now, for some reason, I can find this stretch really easily on the right, but not on the left. Ah, there it is. I'm going to stick my bottom out a bit more. If you're having trouble finding that, stick that left hip out. And then sitting back onto the feet. Now, rather than coming back into our downward dog, we're just going to sit on our mat. Lengthways is ideal. I'm going to turn the camera down a little bit more so you can see in front of me. Okay. So we're doing a lot of forward fold at this point. We will get some chest expansion as well. Don't worry, it's coming. I'm going to bring both legs out in front of us. I'll mirror you because I think I'm showing as mirror. Does this look like my right leg to you? Thumbs up if yes, thumbs down if no. Yes? Okay, cool. So this is going to be my right leg because that's what it looks like. I'm going to draw that in towards my chest and cross it over behind the thigh side of the knee. Both arms come up as I breathe in. Your right arm's going to come down onto the ground. Your left arm's going to wrap around. And we're pulling the knee back, lifting the chest, pressing it forward. Now, if you want to flex that left foot, go to town. Coming back towards the center. We're going to take this foot now and bring it as close to the hip as we can, and it's the outer edge of the ankle and the little toes that are resting on the floor. So be really careful, making sure that the outer edge of the foot and the little toes is on the ground. We want a tight stack of these knees. Don't worry too much about that just yet. If you've got that strap handy, this is the point that we're going to use it. You're going to take, actually, this will be, I'm demonstrating with what looks like my left arm. You're going to use what is actually your right arm. So take your right arm up in the air. Great. Bend your elbow, keep it on your head. So keep your arm against your head, take it behind you. Take your left arm behind your back, reach up and grab the strap as high as you can and squeeze both shoulders back. Good. Just sitting up nice and tall, keep the spine long and straight as you breathe in and slowly bend forward as you breathe out. I want you to keep rotating gently to your right and keep pulling that left shoulder back. If you can walk your hands a little bit closer now, do. Keep pushing the chest forward, drawing the chin in, lengthening the back of the neck. Sitting up slowly, keeping a hold of the strap, and then release it down. Okay, so this is our half shoelace. We're going to try and come into full shoelace now. Don't worry if you can't make it into full shoelace. You can go into the forward fold here in half shoelace. You're going to take your hands over to the left, lift your right butt cheek. Take your left foot back towards your right hip. Now, we're going to take both hands forward to try and lift our bum to squeeze into the knees. So the hands come forward, we stack into the knees, and we sink our hips back between our heels. You can also just sit cross-legged if you want to at this point as well. All right, so this one's pretty intense. We're here in our half shoelace. We're going to take the fingertips out wide to the side. That's for in full shoelace, sorry. Lift the chest, breathing in. Fold over the hips, tucking the tail, breathing out. Now when your exhale is fully empty, roll up through the spine. And when you're full, roll back down. Staying up at the top this time, you're going to interlace the fingers behind your back. And you can keep your palms turning in towards you. You don't have to press them away. Cool? So the palms can face in towards your back. Just squeeze the shoulders together, lift the arms high as you can, breathe in, and then curl the ribs in and fold forward, breathing out. Keep extending upwards through the arms, squeezing the shoulders back away from the ears. 5, 4, keep breathing deeply. 3, 2, 1, sitting up. And then slowly uncrossing the legs. I'm going to take another forward bend before we come to the other side. Before we do that, we're going to take a very gentle twist. So create a long diamond. So a long diamond with the heels a generous distance away from the pelvis. This is your left hand. Take it over onto your right knee on the thigh side and spin your right arm behind your back. So it's going to try and reach to the other side of your waist. Good. Lift up through the chest and then bend into the left elbow as you twist. Coming back to the center, switching sides. Your right hand is going to come over your left knee. Your left hand is going to wrap behind your back, the shoulder rolling back, nice and tall on the breath in and twisting around as you breathe out. Coming back to the middle. Both hands now come underneath your calves. We want to rest the thumbs on the arches of the feet, the fingers on the tops of the toes. Press the elbows out wide, lift the chest, breathe in, and try and fold forward, maybe until your head can rest in your feet. Mine are not getting there today. There is an ideal, comfortable distance for each individual body, and I highly encourage you to look for yours. For me, I always have to walk my bum back a little further to get a little deeper. Keep pressing out through the shoulders. And slowly coming back up again. All right, other side, extending your right leg. Taking your left foot over, behind the knee for a twist. Great, so we're going to take both arms up. Your left hand's going to come onto the ground and your right arm is going to wrap around that thigh, pulling the leg over to the right as we spiral to the left. And we want to get taller as we breathe in and try and really wring the air out of the lungs like water out of a sponge as we breathe out. Coming back to the center. These gentle twists are actually magic for trying to soften our thoracic spine. If we really think about the breath, filling on the inhale and twisting on the exhale. Take that left knee over towards your right hip, so the tops of the toes on the little toe side are touching the ground. Look for a tight squeeze, and everyone loves a tight squeeze, and pull the toes back towards your nose. All right, now this time it's the left hand. So we're taking our strap, holding it up in the air, bending it across, taking the other one, taking it behind. So squeeze both shoulders back, lengthen the neck, lengthen the spine, breathe in, and slowly fold over the hips as you breathe out. You're going to really keep squeezing the shoulders back. They'll try and round forward here, fight it. Keep drawing them back. See if your right hand can come up closer towards the left, and really keep pushing the head back into that left arm, making sure that left arm is against the back of the head, not out to the side. And slowly coming up, keeping the back nice and straight, and then releasing the strap. Full shoelace or cross legs time. We can bring our hands over to the right, lift the left butt cheek, take that foot over, hands come forward, both butt cheeks in the air, and then try and nuzzle them back down between your heels. Do you know, if you've got your block handy, if you find it really hard to get your bum on the floor between your legs, you can put it on a block instead. Totally okay. Bring the hands out, lift the chest, and fold down. Rolling up with your breath in. Fill all the way to the top. And we're going to empty all the way out as we roll down. Curling up using our whole breath in. Rolling down the whole breath out. And at the top of the next one, we're going to pause. Now, on this second round, our chest and our shoulders should be open enough to interlace our fingers and press our palms away. Cool. Really lift the chest, squeeze the shoulders together, lift the hands as high as you can, and then exhale, fold over the hips down towards the ground. Keep extending up and back through the arms, or maybe even up and over if you're feeling really flexy. And then sitting all the way up, softening out of that. Oh, I'm out of time. How rude. All right, I want to do our last stretch, which is our butterfly. Didn't get to do any chest expanding. Well, I did do a couple of arm stretches, but no back bending. How rude. We're going to bring the hips and the heels as close together as we can. Cool. The hands are over the toes. If you sneak them back as far as you can under your feet, you'll get a better press of your elbows into your thighs. Good. All right, so we're going to press down, lift the chest. Come over to your left. Eyeball that right knee. And like, you are the boss of that right knee now. You're going to be like, get down. Cool, you tell it. One more time. Down. Great. Now we're going to keep that, not as forceful as me, I'm just demonstrating with emphasis. Keep that distance between the legs as we slowly roll back to the center. Enjoy that newfound open right hip with an awareness of the left hip staying away as we transfer our weight to the right. And now it's time to boss around this left hip. Open, knee down. You can imagine that you're the big bad wolf and this is the Three Little Pigs house. You can blow it down, that's fine. Take a breath in. Good, keep that same distance. Rotate back to the center. Find your chest in the middle. Find symmetry, find length. Take a big breath in and see if those knees will come a little bit further down as you breathe out. See if we can keep the legs there using our active flexibility, so our strength. Keep the legs exactly where they are. See if you can release the hands. Good, sitting up nice and straight. We're going to take those legs out. I just want to finish with a nice little straddle stretch because we've done a lot for the backs of the legs, but not much for the groin. And we've done a lot of our hips as well. So have a little wiggle here. If you can see, my spine is straight with my chest forward of my hips. If that's really difficult for you, take the edge of the block and prop up your sits bones with the edge of the block. The back of the block can lift off the ground. You want to sit right on the edge. Take the hands forward, lift the chest. So we've got a gentle back arch here as we breathe in, and just bend the elbows, keeping that spinal alignment as we breathe out. Good, now walk the hands a little bit further forward. Keep the knees drawing back. Keep the chest lifting, breathe in. Take a little elbow bend, keeping the back long and straight as we breathe out. Do that one more time, extending the arms forward. Really stretch, stretch, stretch long through the fingertips. Inhale. See if your elbows can bend and you can come down a little bit deeper as you exhale. All right, hanging out here. And then you can soften into this stretch completely for 5 breaths. And once that 5 breath is fully empty, rolling up through the spine. We're going to take the feet to one side, roll onto the hands and knees. Tuck the toes. Now make sure your feet aren't together. They're as wide as your hips. Press your hips back against your heels. Knees are into the armpits. Chin is on the chest as the heels drop down. The crown of the head points to the ground. Nod yes. Shake no. And then nice and slow, roll up through the spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Take the arms up, breathe in. Bring them down, breathe out. I'm going to just kind of take a little tiny back bend to finish here. Take the arms up. We're going to tip to the right. Roll the left shoulder back. Tip a little further. Come all the way to the middle. Go the other way, tip to the left. Roll the right shoulder back and tip a little further. Come all the way up again. Now, as you breathe out, we're going to shoot the hips forward. So there's a big butt poke. Keep the pubic bone pulling up. Breathe in, get taller. And as you breathe out, the arms shift back. So it's hip forwards, arms back. There are our first 2 points. Cool. Now we're going to lift the chest, lift the gaze, breathe in. Push the hips forward and pull the arms back, breathing out. Go again. Breathe in. Hips forward, arms back, breathe out. One more time. Use the inhale, come all the way up to stand. Push down through your feet, get tall, tall, tall. And relax the knees, roll down, scoop it up again. All right.
Well, I hope you feel good and nice in your bodies and have a wonderful day.